Moving to the question number 5, it is to complete the square in quadratic function. This is called a completing the square method. We will learn about that and then to interpret key features of its graph. Now here you have real world problems and you have to do 3 questions. I don't know how exactly it'll be asked in your exam because this is MCQ. You might be asked any one of this, maybe to write the function in a vertex form or to represent the given equation with all the substitutions or to find the axis of symmetry. Any one. We will look into all the 3 now. First of all, let's understand what's the question. It's about fireworks. The height of a firework at an amusement park celebration can be modeled by a quadratic function. Suppose the firework is launched from a platform of 2 feet off the ground at a velocity of 96 feet per second. Use the given equation, negative half of gt squared plus a v of t is with respect to time, basically t is time, and h naught, where the acceleration due to gravity g is given in feet per second squared, that is 32. Now first thing is to write a function to represent this situation. We just have to substitute all the given function, given the values, and simplify it. That is the first question. Let's do it now. Over here in the question, it's all mentioned. It's 2 feet, 96 feet per second, and g is 32. So because everything is in feet, now what is the first part? It's negative half. G is 32. Just substitute 32. T squared. What is V? Velocity is 96. T plus h naught. See now here, it's launched from a platform of 2 feet. The initial height is 2 feet. It's from here. So the height h naught is height, right? So we just write plus 2. Now just simplify this. Negative half, this is 1 times 16 times. So it's negative 16t squared plus 96t plus 2. This would be the first part. Let's just look at the answer. It's negative t squared plus 96 plus 2. That's it. Now this B is to represent this equation in vertex form. Now do you know what is a vertex form? It's mentioned over here if you have forgotten. It is given as a bracket x minus h the whole square plus k. Here h and k is the x and y coordinates of the vertex. How would you do this? That is done by completing the square method. What is completing the square method exactly? Here, this is very important to know. Now, there are different methods. There is a formula as well, which you can apply. This is A, B, C, right? You can apply by a formula, various other methods. But I'll tell you a direct shortcut method. All you need to do is to solve it as, completing the square. I'll just give you an example and then I'll do this. Imagine I have x squared plus, let me take a bigger number, say 8x plus 3. I need to write it in terms of a square, whole square and the other number. The method is very simple. This part, there must be no coefficient. It should not be anything other than 1. Here, just write x. What is the sign? It's plus, just write plus. If it was minus, it will be minus. Now, don't write this x. You have to just write a number. This number divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is what? 4. Now whole square. Then it's not over. This plus 3. Before that, you must write minus this number square, 4 square. So this much, right, is equal to this part. What I've written. See, this much. These both are equal. I'll prove it to you. What is x plus 4 the whole square? It is x squared plus 2ab, that is 2 times 4 times x plus b squared, that is 4 square, and we have minus 4 square. Now let me cancel this, and what happens? It's x squared plus 8x. It's the same thing, this rewritten form. But now this is a shortcut method. It will work all the time. I'll rewrite this. 1 second. I'll just clear it all and write it. Just memorize this shortcut form. Always the first term will be, it should be without any coefficient. Only 1 can be the coefficient. Don't write the square, just write like this. Whatever is the next sign, plus, This term divided by 2, so it is 4 the whole square. It's not over minus the square of this term. Now what's remaining? Plus 3. This would be the thing. And if you simplify this, it will be x plus 4 the whole square minus 16 plus 3. When you simplify this, you will get x plus 4 the whole square minus 13. Okay, this is completing the square. I'm stressing on this because see, complete the square method is there. If they just give you a quadratic equation like this would be the answer, completing the square. Now let me just do one more problem, a similar problem. Say, let me just erase all this with a negative sign. I will take another number with a negative sign. Now imagine I have 2x square minus, or let me just give it like this, minus 2x square plus 10x. Okay, this much is enough, then plus 3, anything. Now here, what is the thing? This term cannot have any coefficient other than 1. Even minus cannot be there. So what I will do is just focus on these two terms, not this. This leave it aside. Let it be outside. Okay, this plus 3 is somewhere outside. Okay, now what happens over here inside? This here, take the negative 2 common term out, because 10 can be written as 2 times 5, right? So I will remove minus 2 outside. Minus 2 is removed common out. What is remaining? Here only x squared, because negative 2 is gone. Basically, you're dividing all the sides by negative 2, both the sides. So when you remove this common term out, minus 2, because you have to do this no matter what. So you can just memorize this. Minus 2 is taken out and divide both the sides by minus 2. So this and this cancels. So you're remaining with only x squared. Okay. What about over here? Minus plus divided by minus will be minus 10 by 2 is 5x. And this plus 3 remains. I've written it very far, but that's fine. Keep it aside. Don't bring it near now. Now let's complete the square. Minus 2 will remain. This completing square is only for this term. So what happens here? It will be the first term, just x. Minus, because it's minus, this term will be half, that is 2.5. The whole square minus 2.5 squared. Now here there is a very important thing. This completing the square is only for this part. See, I will just mark it in blue. This is this, okay? So whatever is this minus 2 is outside. So you must differentiate by a bracket. This is very important. Here many go wrong. Why this is important? Because whatever you have completed the square, right, is this much. This minus 2 has to be multiplied here now. Distributive property, this minus 2 will be multiplied here, and then you simplify further. Okay, this is important to understand. Now my question is a random question. I just took it at the at this particular instant. Your question won't be like this. It will be a proper numbers. Now you won't get usually a decimal point, but let's do this, and that time you'll understand much better. Now let's apply that concept. Here we need to simplify as well after applying. So what happens over here is, first, can this 16, negative 16 be there? No. So I will have to remove negative 16 out. So what is remaining? T square plus this is divided by negative 16. So it will be minus, sorry, this will be minus 16 5s are 80, 6 times t. Okay, this is what happens. And then plus t, keep it aside. Now I'll complete the square, minus 16, and over here I'll be completing the square, t minus 3 the whole square. Why? The square we write only t. This becomes half of 6 is 3 the whole square, and don't forget minus whatever is this term, 3 the whole square, plus 2 is outside. Now this 16 has to be multiplied inside like a distributive property. It will be negative 16 times t minus 3 the whole square. And this is all numbers, okay? Minus and minus will become plus. 3 square is 9. I'll write it as 9 multiplied by this number 16 and then plus 2. So you can put this entirely in calculator directly, or 160 minus 16 is 150, 144 plus 2. It is 144 plus 2, so I'll write it minus 16 times t minus 3 the whole square plus 146. This is the simplified form. Now, why we did like this? We have to take the common term, we have to complete the square. When you complete the square, whatever is remaining is number, so it will just be a number. Now, this is the vertex form. This is basically the vertex form. Yeah, this is the vertex form. Now, here, whatever is this number, only that number, not the sign. It must be negative. If it is positive, it will be opposite sign. See over here, minus. And this must be positive itself. That is the x coordinate of your vertex, and y coordinate will be 146. This is just for understanding. Now we can see the answer over here. They have done the completing the square. You're ultimately getting the same answer. I hope this is clear. Yeah, it's not clearly specified, I guess, but completing the square is very, very important. Now, even you can use formula. There are other methods as well, completing the square. Okay, whichever method is easy. But what I just told you, right, is easier when there is no coefficients. Now, let's do one more problem just for the completing the square. X minus 16, x squared plus 3. Now all you do is write the first term only for these two terms, right? Write the first term without the square minus half of this is 8 the whole square minus this square 8 square plus 33. So the answer is x minus 8 the whole square minus 64 plus 3 would be minus 61. This is it. This is the answer. These two are equivalent. Okay. That is how we get the answer. So in the long run, this shortcut method will be very easy. Just try to remember the steps, remember the method, and then that's it. So now there is one more part, right? Okay, the last one, axis of symmetry of the vertex. Now, what is axis of symmetry? Let me draw a simple. Now this is negative, so it will go like this. Okay. The vertex is somewhere over here. The x value of vertex is always the axis of symmetry, which clearly divides any parabola into two equal halves. So we have just found the vertex right over here. This is the answer. 3 is the answer. But other way, how to find the x value of the vertex, x coordinate, x axis of the vertex? We have done it in the previous problems. The formula is x value of vertex is given by minus b by 2a. Now remember, the initially we substituted and solved. What was this a value? It was half times 32, that's 16. So it minus 16. So a value was minus 16t squared plus 96t plus 2, right? We have to use, what is b? 96. So minus 96 divided by 2 times, what is a? Minus 16. So the answer over here would be minus 96 divided by 32. Okay, minus. Now minus and minus cancels off, it becomes plus. 32 3 times will be 96. So 32 1 time, 32 3 times. Because why 3 over here? It's very simple. So x value is 3. That's it. That is the axis of symmetry as well. So the value t, the axis of symmetry is at, since it's not x over here, it's about t, we tell t equals 3. That's it. And what else is required? Here, this is supposed to be 3. Say the axis of symmetry is 3. Basically, over there, it is dividing into equal halves. So it'll be the same height after 3 seconds. So this is supposed to be 3. Axis of symmetry is that point over here. Okay, which divides into into equal halves. Similarly, you can solve the other problems. All you need to do is all substitution. See, look at this. Here, negative half. G is given as 9.8 in terms of meter per second. So it will be 4.9. 4.9 over here. And then, what is there? V, that is minus 4.9 t squared plus what is v over here? Velocity is given as 4.18 t plus what is the initial height is 7.5. This is it. This is how you write the function. And then we have done the other things. Now, once you get the function, you can do the completing the square method just like what we have done a while ago. You have to take this common out. Let me just do this over here. Only for the first two terms. Over here, just focus on the first two terms. Take negative 4.9 common outside. So you are remaining with t squared plus, what is 4.18 divided by 4.9? You can just use the calculator. Here it's 4.18 divided by 4.9. It's 0.85. See, now you can see here in the final answer you have 0.85t. So if you do this method over here, just that you have to get this without the coefficient. That's why this is a little bit difficult at the beginning if you have such numbers. I hope in the exam they give you easy and straightforward numbers. If you know the method, it's fine then. It's 0.85t, but this minus is this, so it'll be divided by minus, right? So it'll be changed to minus this one. Okay. Why? Basically, if you have to take this common out, you have to divide both the sides by this term, negative 4.9. So when you divide the first term by negative 4.9, it'll be only t squared. Here, when you divide negative 4.9, you'll be negative 0.85t. And then don't forget this plus 7.5. Now we do completing the square. This remains over here. It will be t squared minus 0. Sorry, I'm writing it wrong. I'm writing the same thing. It's t minus half of 0.45 would be 0.425. The whole square minus the square of this. What is the square of that? It's divided by 2 multiplied by the same thing. That's the answer. It's 1.8. I'll just write 1.8, 0.18, sorry. It's 0.18. I've squared this minus 0.18 plus 7.5. Or you can just write 0.4 the whole square. That's also fine. Okay. Now here then you multiply this. It'll be negative 4.9 t minus 0.425 the whole square. And when you multiply this with, I'll just do it over here, negative 4.9, you will get 0.89. So over here it will be negative and negative will be positive. I'm sorry, this minus and minus becomes plus. 0.89 plus 7.5. So the ultimate answer would be negative 4.9 t minus 0.425 the whole square plus, add this up. For this you're I'll just do subtract because it should be added up. Now this will be the final answer, but it's plus and plus, okay? It'll be 8.39. So this is the final answer. Let's look over here. You can see it's the same answer. I'll just erase this. It's just that they have taken 3 decimal point. We have not taken 3. It's fine. It's the same thing. Here also they have taken 3. So if you take 3 decimal points from the beginning, then you will get 2.7. I've approximated to 2 decimal over here, right? That's why I'm not getting the accurate answer, but it's fine. It's very close enough. It's negative 4.9 times t minus 0.425 or 427 the whole square plus 8.391. That's how we get into vertex form. Now here they have, asked the vertex form, but this is the first thing you have to do it, then the vertex form. And then if they ask you the axis of symmetry, you can easily tell this is the axis of symmetry, 0.427, or use the formula for axis of symmetry, that is given by negative b by 2a. So if you apply this formula here in the given equation, you can easily get the axis of symmetry. Now, this is axis of symmetry. If you substitute this, what do you get? The y value. Or you can see here in the vertex form, this is the x-axis of the vertex, y value of the vertex. So this is the thing, vertex is given over here. And we know what is the importance of this axis of symmetry. It will be equidistance or cuts the parabola into 2 equal halves. That's the main thing. Now over here, See, this is a different type of problem. Let's quickly go through this. A rock fall from the top of the cliff, that is 25.8 meters. Now, this H naught is given over here. Let's write one by one. This is 25.8. Use the formula h of t given over here, the equation, where g is 9.8. Okay, that's the standard. Write the quadratic function that models the situation. Determine to the nearest tenth of a second the amount of time it takes the rock to strike the ground. That means it's fallen. What's the height over here? 25.8. Okay, the height, we need to see when it falls down on the ground. So let's write this given equation as negative half. G is 9.8 t square. You have to just multiply this. I'm sorry. Now, what else? What is the velocity when it's touching the ground? It's zero, right? It's at state of rest. So 0 times t plus the height is given as 85.8, 25.8. That's it. Now you have to just do simplification. It will be 4.9 t square. That's minus plus 0. This is gone. Plus 25.8. That's it. Now that's the equation. What else do they want? The time taken. Okay, now the time taken when it strikes. I'm sorry, this is 25.8. Okay, now solve this equation. Equate this to be 0. Solve this as a quadratic equation. Find the solution of the t value. Basically, that is the answer of the time it takes to strike the ground. We will use a calculator easily. We can solve this. Here just press mod phi and 3 because this is quadratic. What is before the coefficient before t square? We have done this before. It's negative 4.9, 0, and lastly we have 25. Because x is t is not there, therefore it's 0. B is 0. 25.8. The answer must be, what is this answer? 2.29. But they have told what? How much decimal? Nearest 10. So it's 2.3. The answer must be 2.3. And can time be negative? No, so we have to just take the positive answer, okay? The first answer only. The answer must be 2.3. Yes, that's the answer. Now you can do other methods as well, but see now what I did over here, just this equation, substitution, and directly calculator, it's fine. Now I'm sticking to this calculator method because we have already studied in the previous questions this calculator method. That's the reason. You can use the other methods as well. You can see over here. Now this is same like what we just now did. So please do try this by yourself and then check for the answers. Here you have to just, the equation is given. It's so very easy. All you need to do is solve for the t. Now I'll do it in calculator. Take out your calculators. Here just put this equation. Mod phi 3, or if you press on once it's in the mode, it'll come back to the same thing. Minus 16. What is the b value? It's nothing, 0. And lastly, we have 4.5. The answer would be 0.53 or negative 0.53. Yes. I am so sorry. That's my bad. I have not read the question properly. Look at this. H is given. Now over here, let's read the problem because see the H is 0.5, which I did not consider. So that's why my answer is wrong. Let's read this problem and then we will understand why this H is 0.5. Tela was eating lunch when she saw a friend Jory approach. The room was crowded and Jory had to lift his tray to avoid obstacles. Suddenly a glass on Jory's lunch tray tipped and fell off the tray. Tela lunged forward to and managed to catch the glass just before it hit the ground. The height h in feet of the glass t seconds after it was dropped is given over here. If Tela caught the glass when it was 6 inches off the ground, how long was the glass in air before she caught it? So now this is very important. The height is given over here. See the h value, the height is given here. But it didn't fall on the ground. You can understand they have told it was caught before it fell. So now if it was on the ground over here, then it would have been 0 height. H is 0 and directly substitute. That's what I did. But I did not read the problem. Now when you read the problem, you come to know it was 6 inches. 6 inches. And all the other things are given in terms of feet. So don't write 6 inches, convert 6 inches into feet. All you need to do is 6 divided by how much? 12 inches gives you in terms of feet, that is 0.5 or half. So therefore the height h is 0.5 feet. That's important to know. Now h is 0.5. Now this 0.5 goes to the other side. What happens? It'll be 0 equals negative 4, sorry, negative 16. All you need to do is negative 16t squared plus 4.5 minus 0.5 would be plus 4. This is the thing which we need to substitute. So minus 16 is correct. What we have substituted 0. Here it must be 4. And the answer is half and negative half, plus or minus half. But you can't have negative time. So obviously it was in the air for how long? For half seconds. That's it. So within half second it was falling. But since it did not hit the ground, it was, within half second it was caught basically. So that's how we do it. See, these are all real world problems. Just make sure you read the question properly and understand. See, the last question, I did not read it, I just did it. That was the mistake. Because over there, I forgot to factor in the height as well. I assumed it to be 0, but when I read the problem over here, the last part, they have told it was 6 inches or 0.5 feet off the ground. So please make sure, don't do such mistakes. Make sure you read it thoroughly and then solve it up. And if you're thinking of completing this curve because it's mentioned, just remember the shortcut method and follow it. And the quadratic functions, always quadratic equations, whenever one side is equal to 0, just use the calculator mode 5 3 and easily solve it up.